Hey guys, it's me again. I'm here to give you my review of the very first episode of Power Rangers Megaforce that just aired February 2nd, 2013. First, let me just say, completely irrelevant to the video, I'm sorry for not getting a January review in, just because I had so much stuff to go on in my life that I didn't really have the effort to make a review. But I think this one should make up for it, because this is something that people really want to be, looking for today. So anyway, I made some notes on the very first episode of Power Rangers Megaforce, and I feel it needs to have a proper review, just like I did for Power Rangers Samurai that aired 2 years ago. So let's get right to it. Basically, it's any typical Power Ranger first episode. It starts with our 5 Rangers, or our core team, and they just go through the regular first episode routine, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, and they meet their mentor and the little sidekick. They learn about the Ranger history. They are given amazing weapons and powers, etc. They then fight the little foot soldiers, whose names I currently are escaping my mind right now. But then they fight a monster. Then they defeat it, and then that's it. It's just, hey, we got our powers, we're going to fight some monsters, we're going to beat the monsters, the end. That's kind of how it is. So yeah, our series is focusing around 5 teenagers. Starting with Troy, and then Jake, and Noah, and Gia, and Emma. Very nice, diverse group. I like it. And what I really like is how they're so similar to previous Power Ranger teams, but I'll get to that in just a moment. First, let's just talk about my notes. Well, first off, the very first thing I really liked about this series was the fact that they put in the Legends War right at the beginning. At least it was just a dream for Troy. Now, I know this is, Mr. Nitpick here, but if you're a real Power Rangers fan, you should have seen during that Legends War shot that there were previous Sentai teams from, the 70s and 80s that were not part of the Power Rangers line. So, I don't know if, Saban just didn't get around to filming the new Legends War, or he just thought, well, I don't think no one's going to really notice that much, or whatever. I just think Saban should have just remade the Legendaries War with only the Mighty Morphin through Samurai teams, along with the, current Megaforce team as well, and then maybe I wouldn't have had to have been nitpicking at that. But, hey, either way, I do like the fact that they began with the Legends War like they did for Gokaiger. So maybe that hints at the Gokaiger season being just as epic for the American adaptation? Nah, whatever. Anyway, the next part that is worth noting is that when we are inside the school, we see Noah trying to be the Brainiac again. Kind of almost like Billy from Mighty Morphin, him being the nerd, the Blue Ranger, wearing the glasses. And this is just me noticing it. I don't know if you noticed it, but it looks like I can actually see some shipping going on between Jake and Gia. It's pretty obvious. I mean, Jake is saying beautiful and smart. Yeah, I can already see the underlying romance there, just like Tommy and Kimberly. Although, I don't even know if we're even going to get a real pairing in this series, not like in Mighty Morphin where it was just, okay, it's there, and we're going to elaborate on that. I don't think it's going to happen in Megaforce. It's just going to be hinted from time to time, just like in Samurai, but it's not going to really go anywhere. At least that's just my opinion. And then, later on, we see them in the hallway, and I'm like, this is just breathing Mighty Morphin. When was the last time you ever had a bunch of teenagers in the hallway in Power Rangers? Haven't had that in quite some time. At least not since Dino Thunder. That's the last time that I can ever remember Rangers being in a high school hallway. That's the last time I ever saw them. Just brings back that wave of nostalgia. I just love how Saban was making it sound like this is basically Mighty Morphin all over again. Although I really hope it's not going to be Mighty Morphin all over again, because then where's the creativity? Where's all the originality? Yeah, who knows? But then I think the one thing that really kind of began to clinch at the idea that this is a brand new Mighty Morphin series was the fact that they said Ernie's Brain Freeze. Ernie's Brain Freeze. Sounds a lot like Ernie's Juice Bar from Mighty Morphin, right? Yep, except this new Ernie, he doesn't look like the original Ernie, which I think makes sense. I mean, hey, you seriously can't be going too Mighty Morphin on us, right? Right? Nah, whatever. And then we go on to the chamber of Gosei and how they say the other name, Tosei or that? Yeah, it's just a little alpha robot thingy. I love how it's just so dormant for this whole time, not like in Mighty Morphin where it was already active when we first saw it. I like how they're just rebuilding it up when we know that, the aliens are coming. I like that. Makes it a lot more suspenseful. And then Gosei said the one thing I knew he'd say, teenagers with attitude. Again, I began to realize this might be Mighty Morphin all over again. And then later we find out that Emma loves photography. Now that's something that's pretty good. I mean, when was the last time you saw a lot of photography rangers? Not many that I can remember. And it also was said that she is also a BMX biker. Yep, this has Ninja Storm written all over her character. All over her character. Photography and BMX, and she actually loves the color pink. Well, she definitely is not a Vita Ranger, we definitely know that. But the way they were teleported to this, little command chamber place, it wasn't really like Mighty Morphin. They were all taken there from separate locations. Sorta. I mean, 3 were in the juice bar, the brain freeze bar or whatever. Troy was on some building and Emma was in the forest. So clearly, it's not really Mighty Morphin unless they were doing it, and by doing that I mean teleporting, all the way from the brain freeze all the way to the chamber. So I thought, that's not really necessary on okay, how are they going to teleport there? It doesn't matter. They're there now, so what are you going to do? And then we saw the Ranger keys. My god, the Ranger keys. I think this is what a lot of people were looking for. People saw the promotional shots with those keys and they thought, it's just a way to get the kids to get drawn into it because of the keys and say, oh, hey, look, we're actually going to make a Gokaiger reference here to draw people in. But I've been hearing people say that the Gokaiger keys are only going to be used for the Legends War. Just for the war and then nothing else. They're just going to stick mainly to cards. I mean, I guess I can understand why they'd want to use cards since I've done some research on this and it says that cards are a lot more appealing to kids than these keys are. I don't know, I guess we got Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon to thank for that, but yeah, I don't really care if they're using cards or keys, just as long as they don't try to fuck up the story too much, then I'll be fine with it. I'll be totally fine with it. And then, the one thing I was hoping I'd hear from Gosei, a Zordon reference. He worked with Zordon. My god, working with Zordon. That shows that we got 20 years worth of continuity. And they say every season after, Lost Galaxy is its own story. Yeah, right. If you're making a reference to Zordon, you clearly have just connected 20 years of story. That's a 20-year-long story that's still going on, despite the fact that you got separate story arcs per season. So that's something I think is worth considering. So much continuity, and yet somehow we say it doesn't happen between the series. Oh well, it happened now. And then while Gosei was going over these descriptions of each ranger and why they were the best choice, I realized that Saban really wrote it in a way to make it sound like he's going to reference almost every single past ranger, more or less. Like, for instance, we got, Emma, who's like a big, BMX rider. So clearly she has like a Hunter and Blake thing going on here from Ninja Storm. We got Noah the Blue Ranger, he's like the scientist and he wears the glasses and we saw him fooling around with some chemicals. He is definitely doing a Billy here from Mighty Morphin. If you honestly didn't pick up on that little Billy connection there, then I really don't think you're a Ranger fan. And now we have Jake saying that he's a good soccer player. Yep, that has Carlos from Power Rangers Turbo and In Space written all over it. All over it. Yellow Ranger with the tiger. Saber-toothed tiger, Trini. Huh? Huh? And we got Troy, the leader, the Red Ranger, disciplined in martial arts. Yep, that has Jason written all over it. These Rangers are definitely past incarnations, well actually current incarnations, of previous Rangers from the 90s and early 2000s. I really was taken way back when I heard these descriptions. I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? They're actually going to make references to past Rangers and give them their traits? That is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, Saban. However, there's one thing about the whole initiation thing that I didn't really understand. The fact that all the Rangers just kind of went along with it and didn't really have any defiance about being a Ranger or saying, oh, screw this, I don't want to be a Ranger. No one really seemed to have that, new Ranger mentality. In Mighty Morphin, Zach and Kimberly were saying, no way, screw this, we're not doing it. While Jason, Trini, and Billy were so willing to do it, everyone here in Megaforce was willing to say, alright, let's all be heroes. I really was hoping for maybe Emma or, heck, maybe even Jake to turn it down. Or maybe, just for the sake of argument, maybe even Troy could have turned it down since, he was the new kid. I don't know, I guess maybe we're going to build up to that maybe a little bit later. I mean, come on, even Connor from, Dino Thunder was saying, I don't want to do this, I really don't want to give up soccer. But, oh well, we'll see what happens along the way. And while they were having their first foot soldier fight, did you notice that apparently it's the same location that they were using in Power Rangers Samurai? Yes, I realize they're filmed in the same country, New Zealand, but still, I think they could have been a little bit more creative with the way they wanted to get the fights done. I mean, yes, it's been said that the Sentai does actually film in New Zealand to sometimes get more action build up because of New Zealand scenery, but I think they could have maybe tried something a little bit different. But hey, it's their show, let them film what they want. And then I realized that after watching that fight, Troy finally said, Gosei told us these morphers would give us power. Let's use them. When I heard that, I am like, yup, that is Jason right there. That is definitely something Jason would have said, and he did. Jason said it in Day of the Dumpster, and Troy said it just now in Mega Mission. Yep, and then he said it, it's Morphin time. It is Morphin time. I don't know if this was a reference to just the past, or if this was a reference to the Go Buster morph, but either way, I'm glad they said it, because I had such a nostalgia rush when he said it. But then the nostalgia rush ended when I heard the two dreaded words that I didn't want to hear in the same sentence. Go Go Megaforce. Yeah, Go Go Megaforce. I actually had to facepalm when I heard that. That was just terrible. We already had Go Go Samurai, but now we need Go Go Megaforce? For the love of... Jeez, come on, man. Couldn't you have been a little bit more creative than that? I mean, Go Go Megaforce sounds, nice on pen and paper, but just saying it makes you feel, are they really going to pull more samurai stops on us? Kind of feels like it at this point. But then again, we don't know for certain. But at least they made up for it in one little thing, besides them having a little ending rhyme right after they were done morphing. During the mid-morph, they were all flipping backwards and then morphing into the Rangers. That definitely looks like they took it from Dino Thunder. And I'm not saying they ripped it off from Dino Thunder, since technically it is part of the same franchise. Dino Thunder, like morphing for Megaforce Rangers, they really are breeding into the whole 20th anniversary thing. This is the big deal now. So, yeah, that was great. And then they had their little weapons fight with their individual weapons. And then, after defeating the foot soldiers, we get our first monster of the day. What was it, like a beetle-like thing? I didn't quite catch the full name of it, but I think they said it was a beetle or something like that. Either way, I actually did like that. It's just how they did it in Mighty Morphin. You get a foot soldier fight, and then you get the monster of the day fight. There you go. It was fun. It was easy. Then they had the Mega Blasters. Now before you start saying something, oh, Mega Blaster, that's so generic. And yes, I do say that is a bit generic too, but I like how they had their own individual attacks when they were using their Mega Blasters. It seriously wasn't like a generic, like a Beyblade blaster, like in Mighty Morphin, in which it like was all the same attack. Oh no, Megaforce blasters had completely different attacks. Speaking of which, that's what they made with their weapons: the Megaforce blaster with their final strike, known as Dynamic Victory Charge. Now that was interesting. I never really would have thought Dynamic Victory Charge would have worked. I actually would have thought maybe like Mega Charge or something. But I definitely was thrown in for a loop when I heard them say Dynamic Victory Charge. I thought that was pretty clever. But then they said something I was fearing once again. Troy said, Mega Rangers, that was a mega win. Oh no. Don't tell me they're gonna do a whole Samurai Rangers Victory is Ours gimmick again every time a monster dies. That is what I feel is going to ruin every single fight in this series. They're going to end with that same catchphrase. The same catchphrase that's said in every single episode. I really hope they don't go in that direction. I really hope they don't. Because then it's like you're completely ripping off Samurai. Well, maybe not ripping off, but you're borrowing too many ideas from a series that really shouldn't have lasted as long as it did. But hey, maybe, this was just like a one-time thing. I'm hoping it's a one-time thing. I just hope they don't say it every single time a monster dies, because if they do, I'm gonna lose a little bit of respect for this series because of its persistence in using catchphrases. And then we move on to the final scene in which they say, "We got lucky this time," says the Black Ranger. Ghostai says, "Luck had nothing to do with it." Yep, that is the whole same exact Zack and Zordon dialogue exchange. Yep, that is definitely Day of the Dumpster written all over it. And then they just had to end the episode with this one thing that I kind of had a feeling right from that scene on. Gemma's saying she doesn't know if she wants to be a ranger because of her hair getting messed up inside the helmet. Yep, that just breathes Kimberly, doesn't it? So let's see. She likes pink. She's a BMX rider like Hunter and Blake. She is a photographer, and she was hesitant jokingly about being a ranger because her hair gets messed up inside the helmet. So she's like a combination of every ranger but Vita, Hunter and Blake, and Kimberly. Well, that is actually pretty diverse. Pretty diverse for just one character in just one episode, mind you. Just one episode. Already we determined that, she made a Kimberly-like joke. And then they ended in a way I was hoping that they'd do right from the start. I was really hoping that, they do like the hands in, 1, 2, 3, Power Rangers jump in the air, freeze frame the end. No, this time they just ended with like their fists going in. Well, not really in a circle, but more like a line. And then they did like a little like chant or something like that. And I don't even think it was a freeze frame they ended in. It was just like a regular like, we're just going to keep rolling this shot until we fade to black. Just no freeze frame, we're just going to let it fade to black there. So yeah, we had that, and that's how the episode ends. So on the whole, despite the minor flaws it has, like any series has, I think it makes up for it with the fact that it made a lot of references to Day of the Dumpster. The characters are really becoming like a big combination of traits from all previous Rangers. Well, not all, but maybe some. And the fact that we have a Zordon-like mentor, we have these amazing aliens, which, by the way, I'm actually gonna say they didn't really touch upon the aliens too much in this first episode. I mean, yeah, I know we're supposed to focus on the Rangers, but still, I think the aliens could have had a little bit more time on for screen time. I mean, they only had what, like 2, 3 scenes. Kind of seems a little out of left field, but hey, maybe in the next episode we'll get something greater. And by the way, speaking of something greater, I think it would have been even more amazing if we actually got to see a Megazord fight in this episode. Just like in Day of the Dumpster. I mean, hey, if you really wanted to go all Day of the Dumpster on us, you definitely could have had like a Megazord fight. Maybe lasting for maybe like 2 minutes, but hey, definitely it could have worked. It could have worked. But hey, most likely we'll get one in, episode 2. And other than that, I think I have to give the episode a solid, I'll say 4 out of 5 stars. Mainly because even though it had a nice number of positives that do outweigh the negatives, some negatives really can't be ignored, such as, like the whole Megazord fight, which, would have been great. Maybe, they could have dove into a little bit more about these aliens and figure out, okay, like, exactly why are they here? What's their goal besides, destroying the Earth? I mean, at least Xandra's goal was basically to make the world completely sad, just so the Sanzu River could, like, be covered in human tears. Now, that's actually a good goal. I think their goal was explained to Megaforce, but I don't think it was really clear enough for me to understand it. I'll have to go back and watch the episode if it comes on later today or tomorrow morning, but definitely I will give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars, which I would say is probably better than my Samurai review, but then again, I haven't seen that review in 2 years, and I don't even know what rating I gave it, so yeah, I definitely say Megaforce. It is a must-see series. I would recommend it if you're just getting into Power Rangers, or if you just love Power Rangers in general, or if you just want to get into this whole 20th anniversary gimmick. I say jump on it before it's too late. So, yeah, that's it. That's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, this is my opinion and not yours, and watch it your own will, and yeah, I'll see you next time for another review, maybe in February. Maybe you'll get 2 this month, I don't know. But until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.